What's good, everybody? It's your boy Yo Shay Duke Jackson back at it again with a one-on-one interview here on the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel. Man, I have a very successful brother here, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself and his name and his YouTube channel. Go ahead, brother. Let him know who you are.
It's your boy. No, I'm just kidding. No, my name is Ike. I'm an engineer, business owner, artist, musician, amongst other
Mhm.
things. And I have a YouTube channel that really is about being better and doing better. My YouTube channel is Ike Ogiamien. I'm sure that O'Shea will put the link down there, so you guys can
Right.
find it. But it's about being better and doing better, and the information is kind of presented from a man's point of view with
Mhm.
the content being simple, measurable, actionable, and intuitive, with a very strong emphasis on the actionable part because there's a strong emphasis on being better and doing better. That's what I'm about.
All right. So I'm so glad that you were able to come on to the channel. A lot of us know you from the Kevin Samuels channel, from just moderating and just participating in this community. But so you're an engineer, you're a very professional guy. Let's talk about this because a lot of brothers that have been, since Kevin Samuels has been doing the high value man content, a lot of brothers see the finished product. When I look at you, I see the nice suit. I saw you on the Solo TV 84 interview. But when you were coming up in college, a lot of black men complain about this.
Mm.
Was it hard trying to date and deal with women when you were very bright and very talented, but then again, that didn't kind of cross over?
Yes, that is definitely, and we can even take it to beyond college. Uh, Now, I grew up in Nigeria, right? So
Right.
maybe people will not necessarily relate with my high school experience, but we're all human beings, okay? So if
Mm-hmm.
you're different in any particular way, you're going to have issues. So obviously, I'm a
Mm-hmm.
black albino, right? So growing up in a
Right.
sea of black faces, I stood out. So I have to deal with a lot of psychological bullying, okay? Now, I've always been a
Okay.
big guy and I can always hold my own, so I didn't get the physical stuff much. But people always had some snide remarks to say. Growing up, people always pointing, doing this, that, the other. So that kind of eats away at you a little bit. So, okay,
Okay.
I can relate in that sense. And then also being someone who is an introvert, introspective, liking to study, to go now move forward to college, and you're the nerd
Mm-hmm.
guy, right? You're studying engineering. Yes,
Right.
being you're not going to be center stage in terms of the social, having that kind of social proof and being able to parlay that into getting women. So yes, there were difficulties in that regard, and I always had to have some kind of a way, some kind of a system to kind of, and we can talk about a little bit more about that. But I always, yes, had to have a system so I can relate to that difficulty. Yes.
So let me talk about this because a lot of guys, I mean, especially me, because I was pre med, and a lot of brothers that was in the same pre med class, I mean, they do really well in chemistry, calculus, organic chemistry. But when it came to the ladies, especially in the black community, it was a little different. And before we get into your point, but let me ask you this: you went to a California State University school just like I did.
Mm.
How did the non-black women um, your kind of interactions with them with in comparisons to black women when you were trying to come up and be educated?
Um, One aspect in which it was different is that the non-black women will definitely be able to relate to you more and gravitate towards you more without you needing to show a lot of what, let's just call it swag, right? You didn't have to have all that swag going for you and have to show some kind of, maybe it's not street cred, but some kind of cred in the sense that, you know, you're the man, you're the you got game, and so on and so forth. And it may be okay, well, in terms of sports or some other kind of way in which you're showing that. But the other women would just tend to kind of relate to you. Oh, you're a college student. I'm a college student. Oh, yes, oh, you're a smart guy, or certain things of that nature. And you didn't have to take it a step above. In other words, the aesthetics, I would say, the aesthetic aspect,
Mm-hmm.
both in terms of both your appearance and the way you carry yourself, the clothes that you're wearing, and again, swag slash aesthetics was not so important with the non-black women, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me ask you this because a lot of the brothers that are, what we consider high value, I've noticed that in the black community, and even sometimes even in the, I know for people in the Nigerian American community, especially some of the women, they tend to end up being more, not all of them, but a lot of them end up thinking more like African American women. I've noticed that. So whatever like African American women try to like, they tend to also have those same trends. If a brother is interested in black women with a guy like like yourself, because you're getting ready to get married to a Ghanaian sister, um, is it harder to try to change up things as a black man that is very intelligent, very articulate, to then try to figure out like, well, how can I stay in the black community or in the African community and still date?
Yes, it's well, first of all, there's a selection process, right? Which,
Mm-hmm.
either you have a system or you're going to be bumping into the walls and try by trial and error and so on and so forth. So the selection is very important. And then it
Mm-hmm.
is hard to know exactly what you're bringing to the table and knowing the female nature. Now, the RP spaces, right, helps, right? Listen to people like you and other people who kind of emphasize, maybe not emphasize, I should say, but who point in the direction of understanding of female nature is very important. You need to understand it very clearly, and also from coming from the kind of people you're talking about, the nerds. You need to understand it intellectually because it's not coming naturally to you. Okay, you're not the natural swagalicious thugnificent guy, right? So if you don't get it intellectually, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes and you're gonna fail a lot. So you have to once you get that, then you know what it is you're bringing to the table, and then you can use these different tools that you're bringing to the table in order to adjust to the market, if you will, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it does take some steps, and you do need to do the work. You need to understand the female nature, understand what they're looking for, and your point about the whether they're African or not, going with what the American people are doing, because America is the standard worldwide, right? So whether
Right.
the bad or indifferent, the right, the wrong, the bad things, one of the major exports of America is culture. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
African American culture in particular. Okay,
Right.
culture, but African American culture. So people see that, they hold it up as a standard, and women tend to go and try to peel off from the top, right? Not whatever the top of the pyramid is, that's what they're going to go for. And they're like, okay, well, this is what the American women are looking for. This is what they consider to be the top of the pyramid as far as men. So that's what I'm going to go
Mm-hmm.
for. As a man in this particular respect, a guy that is more on the intellectual side of things, you need to understand it intellectually, understand the female nature, know what you're bringing to the table, understand the marketplace, and then use what you have to adjust to the market to get what you want.
Okay, that's a good thing because I like how you put that together as far as understanding the market and use what you have to get what you want, especially as a black man, African American or African man. Give us examples of how you did that. If you're interested in certain types of people, how are you able to adjust?
Okay, so let's take for example, okay, for my particular things, everybody has something. Okay, everybody has something that can give him some kind of clout, right? For me, I have certain musical talents. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a good dancer. Now I'm an introvert just to start with. Okay, I'm an introvert. Most of the things that I
Mm-hmm.
like to do, whether it be songwriting, reading, doing engineering, whatever it may be, these are all solitary activities. They involve me and by myself, so on and so forth. But okay, I got to go to this party. Okay, I'm going to this
Okay.
party in the hood, if you will, right? And
All
I
right.
know that I don't really have all that much game, right? I can't really talk in that particular way, especially small talk. This is just true
Mm-hmm.
across the board for introverts. We cannot do small talk. We want to go in deep. And then when you go in deep, that's a huge mistake, right? You lose. You can't just go and start talking deep all of a sudden, right? So it's really
Mm-hmm.
hard. So what do? I'm like, I can dance. I can dance, and I can dance like I am, like it's just only me in the room. Okay, so when it's dancing, I feel no shame whatsoever. So usually I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the first person on the dance floor. Okay, and I know I'm relatively tall. Okay, so I'm going to use that to my advantage as well. I'm going to be seen, and I'm going to also be seen as being bold. I'm going to go and I'm going to start dancing. Okay, and then the women are going to come into the dance floor. And you're going to start dancing with them. Okay, that's going to be your particular
Mm-hmm.
entryway into the deal there. So that's just one aspect. Another thing is, the rapping, either being able to do freestyle or just kind of rap from other people's lyrics or whatever. So if there's some kind of a cipher outside or something, and I'm just doing my thing, standing against the wall with my drink, but you got a couple of brothers over there and then they're rapping, I'm like, you know what? I can do that. Okay, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna join the cipher, and that's gonna help
Mhm.
with the clout, right?
Okay, okay. Let me ask you this, because a lot of black men feel like, especially the ones, and now you're seeing it with the podcast and live streams, guys like Kevin Samuels. You're seeing more guys like yourself, guys like myself, guys who have been, if you want to say, the outcast of the black community for being brighter, being intelligent. You're seeing more of us guys come out and create content and kind of make a space. Um, what would you say to brothers out there who have been kind of ostracized for being smart, and have kind of felt like, maybe, the communities have kind of pushed them away from not being, what a black man stereotypically should be? What advice would you give to those guys as far as, maintaining their intelligence and still pushing forward?
Men are made, we're not born. Okay. The things that
Okay.
you mentioned that could be the stereotypical African American male version of masculinity tend to be things that are more on the born side of things. As I said, they're aesthetically driven. It's about aesthetics,
Mm-hmm.
game, physical prowess and
Mm-hmm.
talent, and so on and so forth. Those are born type of things. More also on the
Mm-hmm.
arts and entertainment end of things, well, that's where those role models will be seen. Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
but talking generally speaking, cross culture, cross time, that has not been the standard for male usefulness. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Men are not
Mm-hmm.
useful because of swag and they're tall and they can, they got physical prowess and talent. No, that's not what it was. It's, well, how are you useful to the community? What skills do you bring to bear? What's your network?
Mm-hmm.
If it hits the fan, can I go to you? And are you going to have that
Mm-hmm.
compound and you're going to regulate things and you're going to lead us right so that we make it past the famine when the invaders come in? That's what it
Mm-hmm.
takes. So don't feel bad that you're being ostracized right now, because ostracism is just part of the look. Men are not born. You're useless from like 16 to like 25, and perhaps even beyond. Okay, because of what use are you really? You've yet to demonstrate your worth, and in
Mm-hmm.
most of societies, universal culture, let's say, accepts that. Okay, so if you don't have any particular thing, again, on the aesthetic end of things that is particularly appealing, then there's no reason why anyone should be taking you seriously. Your job is to put your nose down to the grindstone, keep your head
Mm-hmm.
down, keep developing your skills, developing your worth, and you're going to come out on the other end as being useful. And that's why men have a longer play, have a longer game to play. It's different from being a woman. You cross puberty, and then
Mm-hmm.
now we can evaluate you, right? The product is more or less almost done, right? As a
Mm-hmm.
woman, okay, she's 18. Let's evaluate her. Let's see what her worth is, right? But as a man, no, you're useless at 18 all the way through to 25. So again, the aesthetic end of things is not the universal way. It tends to be emphasized in the African American
Mm-hmm.
culture, where you have art and entertainment being the standard. But
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about it. Keep your nose down, okay? You got the firepower, you got the intelligence. You're gonna come out of the other side on top. Trust me.
Right, and it's kind of reminds me of that song, like, by Mike Jones. Back then they
Back
didn't want
then.
me. Now I'm
Uh-huh.
hot. They all on me. So I mean, do you feel like that? Because now, I mean, I'm going to be making 40 next year, and it seems like I try to tell younger black men that the world has like kind of slowed down, and that I focused on myself and what I'm doing. Sometimes I don't even have time to even go on the date, because the women are always available. Is that has that been your has that also been your experience since
Yes,
you've been?
that has definitely been my experience as yes, I'm 38, right? So
Okay.
right there with you, right?
Right.
And But in my 20s and through college and so on and so forth, bumping around, making mistakes, doing silly things, not understanding female nature, not understanding the nature of a man, not understanding what your usefulness is, what you need to bring to bear, and that you need to demonstrate it. Again, men are made, they're not born. There is a danger, though, with not knowing that, because it's almost like, and not this is not being pejorative, but they're going to come out like predators all of a sudden once you get to a certain stage. Okay.
Right.
And if you don't know your worth, right? And
Mhm.
if you don't understand that you still have to have a strong frame, okay, using
Mhm.
again these RP kind of terms, but they are real. That you have to have a strong frame. That you have to know exactly what the name of what is your company. Like, think about it like an entrepreneur. Okay, my life. Okay, you are O'Shea. This is O'Shea Incorporated. Okay, if I'm gonna bring a woman in, she's gonna play a particular role. Okay, and that is because I understand that this is my particular weakness, mainly having to do. There's a thing that women do for men in particular, which is to make them trustworthy, respectable. It's on the aesthetic end. Again, it's on the aesthetic and the social end of the sphere is what a woman does. It's the branding, the cleaning up of the hard edges. Okay, I'm going to bring her in for that, but I'm the one here that has the company, if you will. Okay, I'm the one that has have to go out there and made myself something. So if you don't understand fully, because as a result of putting your head down, as I said, when I say put your head down, I don't mean just put your head completely down. You still have to understand and interact with the opposite sex. Otherwise, when you come out the other end, you're just going to be this, they're just going to eat you up. Okay, so you still have to understand the game. Okay, but yes, I have a similar experience as you do, in the sense that you come out on the other end of things, you have some money, you have some confidence, you have some competence as well, and capabilities, and have demonstrated certain things, and you don't have to worry about how you're going to get women. You don't have to, wherever you go, they're just going to come out of the woodwork.
Mhm. Talk to me about black men focusing on self discipline, even once you have made it in life and you achieve things. What keeps you going and being more disciplined and evolving?
That's a good question. What keeps me going? At the end of the day, I'll have to say that it is life, right? That I enjoy life, and I believe that we all do, right? In the sense that, from the point of view of the unconscious organism or whatever, deep down, 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 down below, nobody wants to die, right? We all want to say, hey, do you want tomorrow to come? Everybody will say, yes, I want tomorrow to come. So,
Right.
exactly. So from that point of view, that's your ultimate value, therefore, is life. And that's my ultimate value is life. Now, I understand that there's certain virtues that need to be cultivated in order to pursue this value called life, because virtues are how you cultivate or how you pursue values. So, and that these virtues are constant. Okay. Life
Hmm.
is really short. Life is really short. As they say, life is short and art is long, and culture is long, tradition is long. That's why you need to learn from culture, learn from art, learn from tradition. And there's a massive backlog of information of the cultural, traditional, and artistic kind that you need to consume. And there's a complete back, or shall I, let me put it this other way. So that's one way, okay, in terms of that there is all this body of knowledge that you need to inculcate into yourself, not just consume, but inculcate, make part of you. Secondly, is entropy, which means, I know you know what entropy is, but basically what I'm saying is that you if you stay still, you're actually going backwards. Okay, there is no standing still. Okay, so it's not about, oh, I'm just gonna chill, or I don't want to go further. It's like, no, you have to keep rowing just to stay where you're at, because the nature of the universe is moving towards disorder. The nature of your muscles and your bone is moving towards atrophy. Same thing with your mind, same thing with your skills, same thing with your pocketbook, right? So you have to keep rowing just to stay at the same place. And then you have people that they don't want to stay at the same place. They have call it grandiosity or whatever, but I just call it a
Hmm.
love of life. Okay.
Okay.
And then a love of life mixed with this kind of understanding that, look, men have lived and all these men have done all these things and written these books. I wonder what it's like for me to at least approach a tenth of what they've done, right?
Okay. Okay. No, no, definitely. I remember entropy from the good physics classes. you know, all that disorder and measurement of that. So I remember that
Yep.
from general physics. But you know, Ike, we definitely want to bring you back in, but I definitely wanted to, you know, get you on here for the people that are going to subscribe to your channel. Um, what are they going to be able to expect from being subscribed to your channel?
Very practical, as I said in the very beginning, something very practical. And if we were to kind of build a little triad of things in terms of the topics, and then we talk about what's practical about what is contained in these topics:
Mm-hmm.
business, entrepreneurship, sales,
Mm-hmm.
soft skills, streams of income. That's one aspect. And then the other aspect
Mm-hmm.
is self mastery. Okay, mastery of subjective consciousness, the feeling in your body, the image and the talk in your head. Meditation, what is the input you need to put in order to get the output? Discipline, right? That kind of thing about writing, being able to control this particular machine that you have. The third aspect is aesthetics, lifestyle, and intellectual pursuits. So I've started doing book reviews, for example, and I relate all these three together. In other words, like, it's not just I'm going to just talk about your aesthetics without talking about how it affects your business and also affects your particular
Mm-hmm.
self-presentation and your
Mm-hmm.
particular mastery as a human being, why aesthetics actually makes you a human being and actually separates you. So these are the kind of general areas, right? But what to expect as far as the way it's transmitted, as far as the way the information is treated, is that it's always from a very simple, intuitive, and actionable presentation, a measurable presentation. If I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you need to be the most comfortable person in the room, I'm going to tell you this is how you need to be the most comfortable person in the room. This is why you want to be the most comfortable person in the room, because you make other people comfortable and then you can influence them. And you want to influence them because we're social animals and everything you want somebody else has. And try this and you're going to feel this effect. So that's the appeal to intuition. Like, you're going to intuitively understand that this is something that makes sense and also something that you can measure and do tomorrow and see the outcome from. So again, being better and doing better in these three areas I just talked about, which are broad areas, but with the information presented in a simple, measurable, actionable, and intuitive way.
All right, so guys, check out the first comment pinned to the top. I asked Brother Ike to come on because I believe in watching his content. So yeah, I really wanted to introduce Brother Ike to this space. I thought he was a very talented creator and different. And guys, check out the first comment pinned to the top. That is his YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. There's a lot of interesting content as far as sales, as far as scaling the business, as far as personal development. What I think we need more of those Black content creators in the space. So, Brother Ike, thank you so much for coming on to the platform today. I know you're a very busy man. Anything else you want to say?
No, well, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you very much for having me on here. I mean, when I started consuming this content, well, first of all, I started with Joe Rogan and then to Jordan Peterson, and then you get into the manosphere. And first thing you get hit with is O'Shea Duke Jackson. And I really have been enjoying your streams ever since, right? So it's I feel like I'm on prime time right now, actually talking to you, and it's an honor. And thank you very much. And thanks to all the new subscribers that'll be clicking that link. Okay, you guys go there.
Yeah.
Shout out.
And you need it. People like you are needed more so in the space. Brothers like you, Antoine Wade, Andre Hatchett. You know, it just lets people know that there are Black men out here who are in different fields that are being successful. So the Joe Rogans of the world, like I said, talented Black men. We definitely want to bring brothers together on our platform and hopefully continue to build and share best practices. So thank you, Brother Ike. I really appreciate you guys. Guys, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. As you know, the buffoonery remains at all-time high. We out.